not an annex, but it's the old band room that had a lot of money put into it over the last 10 years, and I had a conversation with Superintendent Roach last week. I had been told by some of the staff there that both buildings had leaks, and I called him and asked if that was true and if we could try to remedy that, because if it continued on for the entire year, that if we did take over the building, we'll have to go back in and do a lot of repairs that maybe if we take care of now would save a lot of money. And he went to the school with Dana Smith, the maintenance director, looked at the building, and he's in the process of fixing one of the buildings. The other building, he said, is it's going to take more work, and he asked that I pass along to Commission President to get a hold of him and come up and look at the building with him, because if it's not something the Commission sees as useful when we take over the building, he's not going to put the work into fixing it. He's going to have it torn down.
Okay, so I need to get with him.
Probably.
All right.
Next thing on the agenda is the health department.
Just information to members of the commission. There's been some, of course, a change of the guard at the health department by bringing in a new person to be the director. And of course, that always, when you do that in any organization, you have some movements going on, some ripple effects and things like that, and to be expected. But in that, I've had conversation by telephone with people involved in that. Some are happy, some aren't so happy. But in those discussions, I think that the part that I'd like the commission to give me direction on is in talking with one of the people, the information she gave me, I said, well, that doesn't sound exactly right. You sure that's what's happening? And I thought, yeah, that's what she said. She basically saying that the director was hired in at a salary, whatever that was, and was given a probationary period, which would be proper, I think. But it's also, there's either a state regulation or a county health regulation that says that at the end of that period, the most that you can get in the way of compensation is 10% more. And that apparently wasn't what the board wanted, or maybe the director. But the board took it upon themselves to advertise in the paper that they were going to take new intake, go through the process if they were going to hire somebody new, but only with the idea that that gives them a chance to hire this same person in at a higher salary. And that didn't sit well with me. I may be off base. If you all think so, just tell me. But I didn't think that my information was correct. I did call two people. I called Dr. Smith, the medical advisor, and he said, yes, that's what the board voted to do. I called the chairperson of the board and asked also, is this really what you all aim to happen? I said, do you see any problem with that? Well, no, because that's what we wanted to do. We wanted to be able to give you more money. Well, to me, and I don't want it really like to stir into anything, but I think it's just, we're the people that appoint those people that serve on that board. And it just seems to me like it, maybe the letter from this commission, if the commission would so vote, want to do that, should be sent and bring some points of this to their attention that, yeah, you're independent and you need to run the health department, but I think you need to represent us in a way that we would want to be represented. I just don't feel comfortable in this situation.
Well, you know, the other point too is the point of law. If there is some kind of an ordinance or a law that they're not, if they're trying to circumvent, they're doing what they're doing, then
I think that's what's happening.
Well, I don't care to make a motion. We send them a letter to that, but I also think we ought to ask the prosecutor to look at you know, the law itself, because I'm not aware of what the law is or things of that nature. And if the whole process is just set up to hire the person to circumvent the laws that's stated, then that's wrong. And we need to know that if that's what's happening. So I'll go ahead and motion that we go ahead and send the letter. Like I said, I do think we need to check with Jackie on the legality of the
Well, it's
situation.
probably the letter to him that I sent.
Yeah, I'll second the motion.
Motion second to send a letter to the Health Department Board and copy that to Jackie with follow-up discussion. All yes, motion carries. Thank you.
And next thing on the agenda is old business, Rick McDowell.
Welcome, Rick, for a short presentation.
Yes.
Just kidding.
No,
I know, that's what
I've been prompted.
Somebody said,
Only 2 pages.
I kind of already told her.
I heard you.
Well, you have to listen to Judy. Okay, now I want to give you an update on the wastewater stuff, and then I want to just let you know a couple other things we're doing. The list here is the 26 homes that we're looking at now. There are all sorts of different categories on there. The shaded section where it says direct or says in-ground, that's for trying to decide whether we can either put the final effluent in the creek, which is direct, or put it back in the ground. Last week we did perk tests for those 2 in-grounds, and the results were not good. The perk test failed, so at this point it might be that all these have to be direct. I can't believe that. State code is designed that way, that we have to keep dumping the stuff in the creek, but we're going to go out hopefully on the 29th with some people from DEP and look at some alternates and see if we can figure out something to keep some of this stuff out of the creek. The other thing we haven't finished yet, we don't have all the electrical systems checked to see if they need upgrades, and we're still not sure if some of these houses need somebody to crawl under there and redo the plumbing. We feel it's important to know all that stuff before the bidding goes out, so everybody's clear. So my hope is before the end of this month, which I know is coming real fast, this will all be taken care of, and we can begin working with DEP on the bid line to bid out these next systems so that we get the money. The other thing that's there, we did another direct discharge sampling on the 8th, a week ago last Monday. You can see the homes there. All of them had real good results. 4 is better than 200, so those are all good. On the far right-hand side, it tells you the phase, whether it was phase 1 of the EPA project or phase 2, which is the current green project, and then it tells you the kind of system. The one place that we're having a problem where we're still testing, we are still having a problem at Kevin Farrell's, where we wrote to the Attorney General. We haven't heard anything about that, but we're having a problem at Eric Williams. His is a Quanix system. We thought that the engineer from Quanix might be able to come out on the 29th. He says now that it's the end of the year, they don't have enough money, he can't come. He was saying maybe he could come in April. April seems a long ways off to try to solve this problem. So I'm not sure exactly what we're going to do, but I think we're going to have to set up some hypotheses to say, well, maybe it's this, and we'll work it through to figure it out, or maybe it's this. It's a direct discharge system, and when it's pumping all this stuff into the creek, it should go anyway.
Yeah, that one's that place you got that kind of system.
We have another one, but it's in it goes actually under the creek, across to some property the guy owns across in the field, and it goes into the drain. So it's the only one where it's going through. I think probably if we had more, it'd be a little easier to leverage those folks and get them here, but so that's where we are with the wastewater. A couple other things I want to just give you a very brief update on. Camp Lakeview, remember we had the Flexi grant that brought us together to try to figure out how to move things forward. We're going to be meeting in December to look at some grant proposals for some different things at the camp. There are 3 major ones I want to share with you. One was to install a council circle, which is the 4-H campfire area. to put that on the knoll, at least do one seeding around. It's usually multi-tiered, but at least get one started. Another is to go after some funds for the summer of 2011, where we'll be able to hire some lifeguards and pay for some food, and then every 2 weeks we would try to collaborate with Tri-River and bus kids out there for a day, so we have supervision and we can feed them. So we're going to try to get money to do that. The third thing is, and this would probably be a more major grant, we're talking about going after Appalachian Regional Commission funding to get an educational grant to put solar panels on the picnic shelter, on the caretaker's house, and maybe on the roof of the courthouse. The Public Service Commission, I don't know whether you noticed that they just allowed the electric companies to increase our electric rates. One of the trade-offs was that the electric company now has to install the equipment so that if you have solar panels, you can sell the solar energy back to the grid. And the electric company has to do that for you at a very low cost. So one of our thoughts was that at the camp, where we don't use a whole lot of electricity most of the time, we could sell electric back from these solar panels. And here at the courthouse, if we had it out there, I don't know whether we could, how much we could generate to sell back, but it would certainly offset the electric bill. The commission, I think, would be a great demonstration project for the county. And, you know, the roof of this is a good place to put them, because it's flat and there are trees around. So we're going to go after that, and we're going to do some all-weather kind of, part of it would be to have some all-weather educational diagrams that would explain how it works. And